Welcome to the MVP podcast, where we talk about anything NBA. I'm Sam Holcraft alongside Geigh Zollicoffer and Payton Thompson. Before we begin, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Momentum MVP, follow our Facebook page at MVP Momentum Podcast, and check us out on YouTube at MVP Momentum Podcast. So, for this podcast, we're going to talk about players that have been kind of having a disappointing start to their season, or not necessarily exceeding kind of like some expectations that we have. But before we even get into that, Gage, what am I looking at right now?
You are looking at the advanced stats. I've not seen these, so this is going to be really funny. And I think we're gonna, we have some players that we suspect are having a bad season, but I'm kind of curious what these stats show us if there are other players we're not really thinking about. So yeah, this is the advanced stats for NBA. There's some funny things on here.
Gotcha. So, if we're going to be talking about players that have been kind of disappointing us this season, who's the first guy that we should be talking about?
Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole.
Yeah, Jordan Poole. 444. What? I'm actually curious. There's no way, actually. Okay, so Jordan Poole is the worst out of players in net rating who plays more than 25 minutes and has more than 10 games played. How much further do you think he rises if we lower that threshold? What do you think? Should I what do I do, 10?
I think he'll stay at 444.
But how many players show up? How many more players show up? I don't know. How much is it? 500? How many people are in here?
I don't know, but here's the thing. If you think about if 13 players are on an NBA roster, you do 13 by 30, that is only 390. So there is 54 other guys that technically aren't on the roster that have a better net rating than Jordan Poole. Now, it's probably closer to 0, but that's...
Yeah.
He just hurts his team so much in general,
So this is everyone. Now it's Jordan Poole with the second worst net rating for any sort of minutes. At least if you played at least 10 games. All right. Now, if I keep lowering it, Jordan Poole, there's only one person who beats it, Damian Jones. If I keep lowering it, let's see how much. 1, okay. So 2, 3, 4. Let's see. When does he show up again? 6, 7, 8. Okay, so he shows up around 8. Marcus Morris Sr. though. That's actually not too surprising. Kind of forget that he kind of has been falling off ever since when he played for the Clippers. Unfortunately, I know a lot of Clippers fans wanted his head last year, but I'm not gonna go into that. So Jordan Poole. Why do we think Jordan Poole has been bad?
Honestly, I think that he got a big contract, and I think he kind of fooled the Wizards into thinking he might have been something that he's really not. And I think we've seen, players before be bad, and go to the Warriors and be pretty good and flourish. And then vice versa. I think you've seen other players that leave and just don't have the same impact on the league as they would on the Warriors. And, maybe part of that was the other guys' gravity. Maybe part of it was coaching, confidence, etc. But, I think the biggest thing about Jordan Poole is that he doesn't really give you much on the defensive end, and he really doesn't help you win any games. I think there's plenty of guys in the NBA that could put up, is there a way that we can see just his pure stats real quick?
Yeah.
I know they're not very good. But I think there's a lot of guys in the NBA that could do pretty much exactly what he's doing right now and just hurt their team that much less. Obviously I don't think it would make the the Wizards that much better of a team, but at the same time, it says a lot when you get paid that much money to pretty much do nothing, except just put up numbers. I think if you even just were to compare him and Kuzma, I think Kuzma brings a lot more versatility to the team. He has more cohesion with the coaching staff. He's getting paid a lot less. So there's just a lot to him. If you just want to go back to those advanced stats and just open the new tab with his
I
pure
can
stats
look
on
at
it.
player, and I can just look up. I can just look up and say Jordan Poole. Like Jordan. Oh. Yeah, I'll just go back to advanced stats. Can't find it. It's weird.
Yeah, if you just click on his name.
Just click on his name, yeah. What are we looking at here?
Okay.
There we go. All right, so he's averaging 17, 3, and 3. Now, there's got to be tons of players in the NBA right now that already are doing that, and probably some that are in a backup role right now that play much better defense, much better shooting splits, have a much better attitude towards winning and just being a part of a team. I think the one thing that does save him here is that he is 24, so I think he can build stronger habits. But the thing is I think you would have thought that those would have already been established playing with the Warriors. I mean, he won a championship, but you know, the one question that I think I have is how much of this is the Wizards versus how much of this is Jordan Poole's tendencies. Because I think when you look at the Wizards, they really haven't done anything for anyone in the past. Maybe probably since John Wall, kind of Bradley Beal, but they were never really winning games with Beal alone. Obviously, they made the playoffs that one year with Westbrook, but they've never really done much for their young players ever. And so, I don't know, I kind of wonder how much of that is them versus how much of that is just a combination of the player.
Yeah, so with my thing with Jordan
Yeah.
Poole is that I get
Can you hear me?
I'm just kind of concerned about the amount of shots that he's taking and his efficiency. So out of the top 50 players that take the most shots, he is 41st at 16.2. There's only two people in the top 50 that shoot under 40%. That is him at 41, and then Julius Randle, who's at 26, at 17.4 shots per game. So not only does he take a lot of shots, but he's taking some inefficient shots compared to everyone else. I mean, we could look at the person who takes the most shots, De'Aaron Fox. He takes 22.3, which is a lot more than what Jordan takes, but he's shooting 48% from the field. That's almost 9 whole percent more than what Jordan's shooting with 6 more shots.
And you would think that he would have
Yeah,
a pretty good offensive rating with the little amount of defense Jordan Poole, the little amount of defense he's playing. But I think he might be almost one of the worst. Let's see. Yeah, he's right next there with Asher and Josh Richardson. And he has the keys. He can shoot whatever he wants, but it's just been bad.
There are 54 players with more points than him in the league right now, and I just don't think that's what the Wizards thought they were getting when they got Jordan Poole.
40 more people with more shots and 54 more people with more points. You would think that would be if that's on par, then like at least that's like he's consistent, but it's just not.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move on to our next couple guys here. I think these two guys you can kind of put together because one, they're on the same team, and two, I think they've had similar weaknesses this year, and that's Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins. And it's funny, I mean, 3 of these guys were Warriors last year or 2 years ago, and they won a championship. So, I think it's pretty telling how players kind of react in different situations and different rosters, but that's kind of a big part of the NBA is what's around you. And we kind of talked a little bit off air about this, and it definitely matters, who's on the roster, who's healthy, who's coaching the team. But the thing about Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins is, besides losing Jordan Poole, um, and maybe a couple of role players, all that's pretty much stayed the same. Um, so I'm as far as the eye test goes, it just seems like Klay Thompson. We'll kind of separate him a little bit here. I think Klay Thompson is kind of regressing a little bit as far as his shooting splits, his aggressiveness on defense. I think obviously after his injuries that kind of took a toll on him. But his aggressiveness towards the rim, I think, and his mid-range spot up ability and just being able to get open off the ball has really affected how much he can make his shots. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, they really need him to play better if they're going to win games. As of right now, they're the 10 seed. Obviously, Clay's missed some games. Draymond's missed a few games as well. But, I think either the Warriors are really banking on Clay being good, or they're going to have another season where they're really fighting to get into the playoffs. And I just don't think that really plays to their advantage when you got a core guys that are older. And as far as Andrew Wiggins goes, I'm not really sure what happened to him, because I feel like when he was on that championship run, I feel like he gained a lot of confidence. He really understood that, hey, I can be this guy that contributes to winning. I'm not just a guy that's going to go score points in Minnesota and not really do anything on low efficiency. Um, but lately he's just not hitting shots. He doesn't look aggressive. The defense has kind of taken a step back, although I think that's probably the stronger point of his game right now. But if you're getting paid as much as he's getting paid and you're having to be the third option on offense, maybe situationally the fourth, on a night where maybe Draymond Green is kind of, holding the ball a little bit longer, doing his thing, maybe you don't have to be that guy. But I think the majority of the games that Wiggins plays, he's going to need to be the guy that makes shots and averages at least 16, 5, and 3. So with, a steal or two. So yeah, these guys are just kind of taking a step back, and I think the Warriors are really feeling it right now. And I just don't think they can afford to keep underplaying, because they're going to be in a situation where they're playing against a young team that really wants to make the playoffs and the play-in, or they're going to be playing against a team that's already established, like Clippers or the Lakers or whoever else. It's you got that home court advantage in the play-in.
Yeah, so if you're looking at these stats, this is kind of interesting though. So like these are obviously this singled out top four. We're gonna keep Draymond away for a bit. So Andrew Wiggins obviously has the worst offensive rating, but they all kind of have the same defensive rating. It does seem like Klay Thompson's playing a little bit better defense than obviously Steph and Chris Paul. I don't know, maybe that can add to it a little bit. The net rating, obviously, like Andrew Wiggins is by far the worst. So honestly, like it might be that Andrew Wiggins is more to the puzzle rather than Klay Thompson, because Andrew Wiggins is just worse. And if we turn to efficiency, the effective field goal percentage, actually, Wiggins is at a 45. There's a big drop off between obviously Steph Curry. So I think you just need them to, at least one of them, to improve a little bit, and you might be able to pull it off. Like the team might be able to improve. I don't think it's that bad. Say the usage rating, by possessions. Wiggins is
In
just
that
grabbing
context,
rebounds.
you'd either need both of them to improve a little bit or one of them to improve a lot. Maybe not both improve a lot,
Yeah,
but I think if they both improve a little bit, that could maybe do it. But if it's just one of them improving a little bit, I still don't think that's really going to get them where they want to be.
Yeah,
yeah,
and even though
because
that Wiggins is shooting a 45.3 effective field goal percentage, he's shooting 25.5 from three this year, which is 10% less than what he normally shoots. And he's also shooting 15% less from the free throw line. Now, he was never really a spectacular free throw shooter. He shot about 72, but he's shooting 56 this year. And I mean, he doesn't take all too many field goals. I mean, it looks like, or free throws. It looks like he averages like 3 to 4 per game. But if he's only making half of them, like, they've had a couple games where they've lost by 3, 6, 3, 8, 7, 8. you make some of those, or even just make a few of those 3-pointers, it could be a totally different game.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's all Clay's fault.
Well,
I
that
think
was
it might be
Wiggins.
more Wiggins
No.
here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Wiggins. See if I go to Clay. I should probably just exit this one out. Let's see. Players. Let's actually go to just the team. Advanced filters. All players. Not all players. That's funny how they give us a rookie. See if I can just find 3 points. He should be high in the 3-point rating, right? But I guess it's not letting me sort there either.
Clay would be still. He's shooting 36, I think, percent from the season, which is okay.
His career average is 41 and a
Yeah,
half.
I don't think Clay's really the big issue.
Yeah, I think the difference between the two is that I think Wiggins is taking a step back that we didn't really expect, whereas Clay is kind of regressing as we probably should have expected. I think that's what's happening here. Because I mean, he really does have a valid reason to regress. I mean,
His 12th year in the
he's
league.
getting up there in age. Let's see how old he is. He's going to be 34
Yep.
this season with injuries,
Clay's taking a lot more twos. A lot more twos than. How's his 3-point frequency? He's taking threes.
Yeah, he shoots 7.5 per game, so he's still shooting them.
It's a 39.1. But look at this. I think Andrew Wiggins might be the one to blame.
I think they're both to blame, but I think Wiggins has more so less reason to not be playing well.
Yeah.
I'd probably say it's like a 70-30% split, whereas like the 70% is like, come on, Wiggins, like we need you to play well, you're in your prime, whereas the 30%'s like, yeah, maybe we should have expected Clay to like kind of regress like this. He's been off injuries, he's going to be 34 years old. So although maybe it's not all his fault, there's still a little bit to point out there.
He still seems like a good catch and shoot, though, at least. So maybe it's just the shot creating he's struggling with. The catch and shoot is shooting at 39.3%. He's attempting 6.4, but like I think it's when it's off the dribble is when he's stuck. I don't know if you call pull-ups. Well, he's still good there too.
Now it changed.
I don't know if we get off.
So, yeah,
It changed.
Yeah, pull-ups is so it's either they're calling a catch and shoot or a pull-up. It looks like.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, but then overall, he takes a little bit of. He's not doing that bad. It looks like his field goal percentage is pretty poor. Oh, compared to them, but like 29.1. It's kind of a drop. Less than 10 feet. They never do. All right, well,
so this is where Wiggins needs to be. This is where we need Wiggins to be elite, is around the basket.
She kind of is. But where is Clay? I think he's not. He's probably he's the least effective around the rim on the entire team.
Yeah, so it kind of points to what I said about him not being aggressive towards the rim as much.
Yeah. I think that might be it. I think he's just maybe lost a little bit of a step or a bounce, but it looks like his threes are there. He might not be all the way there when it comes to like, his threes are definitely there. Actually, I believe it because his offensive rating is fine, his defensive rating is fine, and so you have to conclude that it's just around the rim.
What is his defensive rating?
His defensive rating is okay because it's better than the top 4 guys right there.
118.
Clay has
Okay.
been known for D. He's a bit of a like these guys. None of these guys are really known for their defense, but Clay is a little bit above, which is expected. But like he used to be
Wiggins
much
should be.
higher. Wiggins at one. Wiggins is 118, 118, 116, 109. Chris Paul, but like
Yeah, Wiggins should be the best defender on the team if you're not really factoring in Draymond Green.
I think if we have Draymond, if you add Draymond Green is not the best.
Yeah,
It's
he might
actually
not
Clay.
even this year. Right, and I think that kind of points to like I think that points to a lot of the problems the Warriors are having this season. Like I don't think a 34-year-old Klay Thompson should be your best defender. You know, realistically. But anyways, we're getting kind of stuck in this Warriors talk. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think Wiggins definitely needs to step up those percentages. Play better defense. Klay Thompson, I mean, he's not doing too badly. Obviously the percentages are good. But I mean, you just don't really know how much where you're getting out of him at this point.
Yeah.
So your next guy, Sam.
The next guy that I want to bring up, and could be a little bit controversial, but I would say Chris Middleton. Necessarily hasn't been struggling, but he has been kind of disappointing me a little bit, and you could maybe say that some of like the Bucks cohesion has been kind of like faltering a little bit because of him not playing to the extent that Milwaukee is wanting him to. Because let me see real fast. So they are still the 3 seed or tied for second in the East, but at the same time, there's been a few games where they could have easily won. I mean, they barely beat their last 2 games. Look at this. They beat the Blazers by 6 and they beat the Wizards by 3. Those are essentially 2 of the worst teams in the NBA right now. And they won those 2 games by a combined 9 points. How is this happening? And they lost to the Celtics by 3, which is a good loss. But I mean, if we go down the list of their starting lineup, I mean, you have Brook Lopez, who we could probably say maybe top 5 center in the league. Could sneak in there, or at least 6-7 at the lowest. Dame could be top 5 point guard. Giannis, top 5, top 3 power forward. And Chris Middleton, a few years ago we could have said Chris Middleton is a top 10 or top 8 small forward, but he's kind of like falling down the ranks. But that's just because,
I don't know.
You don't know what.
I think he's doing fine. It's just why are the minutes so low? The man has a little bit more to give, it looks like, at the stats. I need to know why his minutes are so low.
I think they're trying to protect that Achilles. I think that's what it ultimately is. But as far as the team construct goes, the reason I think the games are so close is because the coaching has not been up to par. Their defensive rating as a team is pretty bad. I think as far as his points goes, at 11, it is a little bit of a drop off in 15, but I think when you add a guy like Damian Lillard, you kind of expect to be, sub 15 points. I think if he were to average 15, Giannis average 25, Dame average 25, and Brook Lopez, will give him 13, 14 points. That team is going to win a lot of games, but if you can't play defense for the majority of the time, it's going to be really hard to beat the good teams. I think they'd beat a lot of the bad teams that we just got done talking about. But as far as the winning column goes for this team, I don't really think it's on Middleton. I think it's mainly on the core guys, which, I mean, I guess he would have been considered a core guy. But I think that injury starting the season really messed up his rhythm. And then on top of that, the team is just really trying to figure out how to win games with their big two at this point and with a new head coach. So I think there's a lot of moving parts around that. As far as last season goes, he had a big drop off in his 3-point percentage so in 2021, he shot 37% from three. So, pretty good. And the 2 seasons before that, he shot 41. So he's a good shooter. Last year he shot 32%, and now he's shooting 32% again. So it seems like his shooting just as a whole has kind of regressed, unfortunately, but I don't think this is necessarily anything new. Now you would think that with Dame on the team, his shooting splits would go up because he's drawing more attention as the scorer he is. But there's just so much going on here that it's kind of hard to evaluate how Middleton is playing right now and how much it really affects wins. Where I think is like a guy with like Jordan Poole or Andrew Wiggins or Klay Thompson, mainly Andrew Wiggins, is affecting how this team plays and potentially losing games for them.
Yeah. I'm just trying to take. Yeah, I think it. I mean, he is shooting a pretty low like field goal percentage, but it's kind of weird because he doesn't take many shots. He doesn't take too many shots. 9.5. So what is that in
Yeah.
comparison to everyone else? 9.5, right behind Bobby
Who
Portis.
comes off the bench.
Yeah, it's just those minutes are at an all-time low. They might, like Payton said, they might be just protecting that Achilles. I don't think it's really his fault too much. It's just too soon to say what the reason is, but I'm gonna blame the injury history on why he's only averaging 19.8 minutes a game.
Yeah,
I don't think it's offensive rating. Obviously, when he comes in, he's fresh. But defensive rating, that definitely it's a little weird. Defensive rating, a lower defensive rating is terrible, right? Is the worst.
Yeah.
Should be higher.
That's to be expected, I think, with him, with his injury. But I pulled up his per 36, and if he plays 36 minutes, which obviously isn't realistic, but he's at 21, 7, and 6. So he could be that guy. And you're probably saying, well, his per 36 the last 2 years probably must have been crazy then. In 2021 it'd be 22. In 2021 it'd be 22. 2022 it would be 22, and then this year it'd be 21. So he'd only be moving back 1 point. And because last year he only played 24 minutes as well. I think that's what I'm looking at here. Yeah, he only played 24 minutes, whereas now he's playing 20, averaging 4 less points. I mean, that checks out. It's basically a point per minute. So he'd probably still be averaging 15 if he played 24. I'm just wondering. Okay, so yeah, he was dealing with that injury stuff last year too, right? Yeah, because he only played 19 or 33 games. So I think it's really healthy with him, man, because the season before that, he plays 32 minutes a game. He's averaging 25 and 5, on good shooting splits. So I think if he were to be healthy, I think a lot would be different for him, but he's just not. So, that comes with being a good player. You got to be healthy.
Yeah, I don't think he's in too much trouble. Yeah, I'm not buying it too much, Sam.
I think his health's in trouble. I don't think him as a player's in trouble. I think that's what I would say.
Okay.
No rebuttal to that, or do you agree?
No rebuttal. I thought about that for a little bit. I was like, okay, I see it.
I was talking to Sam because he just said okay.
Yeah. I don't think. I mean,
you agree pretty much.
But I just feel like, they could save him all they want, but at what point are they going to start giving him those minutes? Is it because they're playing a lot of close games that they don't need to be, because they were the 1 seed last year, But if they would have gotten a better draw, I mean, like let's say they were the 2 seed and they got upset by the Heat in the second round. Like it could have been. It's just these games matter, and you want to get that 1 seed, but obviously they just ran into the freight train Heat at the wrong time. But if they become the 2 seed and they run into a team that gets hot like the Heat again, like it's just you can't
Kinda
be losing
curious.
games that you're supposed to win, even if it is November. And I downplay November games.
You do, yeah. It's kind of funny hearing you
Chris
that.
Middleton is, I think, so look at, these are the people who played like more than 18 minutes a game. Devin Booker, Isaiah Joe, I guess, is doing really good net rating. But if you keep looking down, Chris Middleton's right here. So when
There's
he
my
does
guy
play,
right under
he
Middleton.
provides good. And out of all these guys, I think he might average
Oh
the
yeah,
least
your
amount of
guy
minutes here.
Batum.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see how far is he?
It's the fourth quarter, why Batum in? Know what I mean?
The net rating. Yeah, net rating. I wish we could sort this by like the minutes as well, but look, so
Yeah, it doesn't let you do
34,
multiple
20
sorts.
minutes, 32, 20, 20. Okay, Goga got some. And then it's Chris Middleton with 19.8. Sengun, yeah. Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Chet. So Chris Middleton, if he can stay healthy, he's definitely going to be dangerous.
Oh, you got okay. I was wondering who that the 18.6. That's Joe Ingles.
I'm happy for Joe Ingles.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, he,
Is there any other players you guys want to bring up?
not necessarily, but I need to push back on what you're saying with the November standings real quick. I would say in the East this year, you can afford to manage Middleton's health because I think you mainly know that it's you, Celtics, Sixers, and one other wild card team, whoever ends up being that 4th seed. I think it'll be the Pacers. Maybe it's the Magic, but I don't see them holding. Maybe it's the Cavs, but Cavs haven't really been healthy this season either. So it's really only 4 teams in the top of the East. The East, we all know the East is very top heavy, whereas the West is very, sorted or, even throughout the conference. So I think you can afford to lose games, but I don't think you can afford to lose games all year. I think that's the difference. I think if you are able to get Middleton at like 80% health by February, I think then you're feeling good about your odds to be a 2-3 seed, and then you can have whoever you play in the middle rounds. Personally, I don't think the Bucks are scared of anybody besides the Celtics, and they wouldn't have to play the Celtics till the ECF anyways. So I think that's all you really are worried about. So yeah, I think that's why they're kind of figuring that they can afford to lose. I mean, they're 12-5 right now.
Third highest points per game for Milwaukee. They're doing just fine.
All right.
But they need to figure out that defense for the playoffs, but that's a different discussion for a different day.
Yeah. Actually, I wonder what's their differential? Yeah.
Differential? Or
Yeah.
plus minus?
Same thing.
They're probably barely winning these games. Honestly,
Yeah.
you might have got it. 2.9. So they're squeaking them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12th. Yeah.
So
Third
that's about
third
right for a
highest
winning team.
third highest points per game, but you're 12th in plus minus.
yeah.
Shout out
Squeaking
to
some
the
of these
young
wins
teams
out.
taking care of business against bad teams, though. You got, hey, what is it? 4 of the top 6 are quote-unquote rebuilding teams that are getting out of the rebuild. Thunder, Wolves, Magic, Rockets. Yeah, they're taking care of business against bad
Yes.
teams.
Yeah, blowing them out the
Yes.
water.
Thank you, Blazers. Thank you, Wizards.
I mean, there was a controversy. Who was that team that was shooting like against the Bulls the other
the
day,
Raptors.
even though the game was over?
Raptors.
They were still taking shots. The Raptors.
Yeah,
Ed DeRozan got ejected because of it.
They must. Yeah, they need
Yeah,
it.
I thought he was kind of tripping, but
I mean, you're up.
I think he just
You're
didn't really
winning by
understand the
11. Why are
rules.
you shooting? Like, here's the thing: if the time was running out on the shot clock and you needed to, and you didn't want to take the turnover, sure, go ahead. But it was still like the shot clock was turned off. There was still like 8 seconds left or something like that. It's just, you don't do that. I mean, tell me you're a poverty franchise without telling me you're
That's
a
what you're
poverty
saying?
franchise. Yeah, don't shoot that.
I think they wanted to get the point differential for the play-in tournament. Because that's what matters when you're talking about tiebreakers, is it's point differential for the play-in
Oh,
tournament.
the in-season tournament? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a play-in tournament game. That's what I'm saying. I think if it was a regular game, I would understand, but I just didn't think he understood the rules as it related to that
Yeah,
specific
still,
game.
just if you didn't get it because of 2 points, then you don't need to be doing that. Let's see where.
I mean, either
No,
way,
the
maybe the Bulls can just be
Were
better and not
eliminated.
put themselves in that
The
position.
Raptors were eliminated from that in-season tournament. Yeah,
Were they?
so there was 0 point in shooting that ball.
What's their
They're
in-season
1 and
tournament
2,
record?
and the Bulls were 0 and 3, or are 0 and 3 now.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, because the Magic.
What do you find the I want to know who the best.
Yeah, because the
defensive
Magic
team
are
is.
3 and 1 in their division, so they're already getting in. There's
Okay, yeah, okay, I gotcha. They were
so
eliminated.
yeah, it made 0 points, 0 cents to shoot that shot.
Lineups.
Yeah, I agree with you. At this point, now that I knew they were eliminated, you probably didn't need to do that. But did he really need to get all up in arms about it too? I don't know.
Here's the thing. Well, yeah.
I mean, he didn't really need to get ejected.
First of all, that was a
for
very
it.
soft ejection. Like you did not need to get
enough.
ejected, especially with 1.5 seconds left or whatever.
Yeah.
But also, I think he's more mad that it is his team that he wanted to spend his entire career with, but had to trade him away. And it's like, come on, against me, you do this.
Yeah.
And so he was just kind of
right. It's not like I'm on a good team either.
Right.
I'm struggling.
Because here's the thing: if he was like on the Bucks or like the Nuggets, like one of the best teams in the
or like the Mavericks
one of the good teams, like okay, fine, I understand, but like, come on, I'm on the Bulls, who is probably going to be the most disappointing team this year.
Right. Well, at least he'll get traded, so you don't have to worry about that record, anyways. Yeah.
What's the best 5 lineup on the Rockets, Payton? What do you think?
The best 5? Are you talking about net rating points for what?
I'm talking points.
Just points?
You need buckets.
It's probably Fred. Huh?
You need buckets. Like who's the 5
buckets?
You putting out?
Now, are you wanting me to guess what it says, or in my opinion?
Guess what it says.
Okay, probably will say Fred, Jalen, Şengün. I don't think Jabari will be there. I think it's going to say like Jeff Green or something. And then am I forgetting? Yeah, and then Dylan Brooks. Yeah, I think Jalen will be there.
Okay, let's see.
And I think Jeff Green will be there instead of Jabari.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks, Jeff Green, Şengün, and Jabari Smith Jr. Actually.
Oh, okay. So wait, who didn't make it? Fred did, or no?
Fred got it. Dylan Brooks is in. Jalen Green's in.
Wait,
Şengün is in, and Jabari Smith Jr. You need a bucket.
Is it Jalen?
The lineup.
Or is that Jeff?
Yeah. No, it's Jalen. Well, yeah, or is it Jeff Green?
Is it Jeff Green?
No, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so basically they're starters.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is probably Jalen. Has to be.
Yeah, probably.
Right?
Probably. Yeah, probably. If it were to be 3 games ago, though, I'm pretty sure it would have set Jeff Green. Because he closes teams out a lot of the time. Not recently, like the last few games, Jabari's like finally coming around, but that's a discussion for a different day. I don't want to get into
Yeah.
that right now because that's going to be a whole discussion.
But all right. So if there's no one else we want to talk about, is there any last comments or questions you guys need to pose?
No, I don't think so. I would just say that I've really enjoyed watching the NBA this season, with the good mix of parity throughout the conferences. I think every team this season, at the top of the conference can be beaten by most teams that are not named Wizards, Pistons, um, etc. Spurs maybe. I think the Rookie of the Year race is kind of closing in a little bit on Chet. As long as they keep winning games, I think that's looking good. I'm sure we'll touch up on the mid-season awards as well at some point. But yeah, I really enjoyed watching this season. So yeah.
Gage?
It's that 5 lineup is lethal. Lethal. But it's surprising.
Yeah.
Second out of teams that played at least 8 games, you have the Rockets here.
Doesn't surprise me, but I'm sure it surprises a lot of people.
That surprises me.
Can you look up defensive rating for me real quick?
Defensive rating.
Or just like NBA team defensive rating. Like, is there a way just for you to like see that real quick?
Yeah.
Because I was trying to find that, but I couldn't find it.
Actually, let's see. Let's look at the lineup.
You could look at lineups, that works.
Yeah, and let's look at if I can pull up the defensive rating here. I think should be around here somewhere.
Isn't it at the top with the advanced filters?
Yeah,
Or
you
is
might
it
have
on
to
the
do
side?
advanced.
It's not. Yeah. Yeah, you don't get the advanced filters.
With the little filter, isn't it?
No.
Here?
It doesn't show.
Yeah, that one.
It doesn't show the defensive rating, which would be crazy. But we can just see at least. Well, it's probably this team plus minus.
Yeah.
Blocks?
Nah,
that doesn't tell the whole story.
Anyways, I know Rockets are top 2. I just wanted to see who else was there.
Yeah. It's funny.
So
yeah, I don't think I can get it. Hold on, one more chance. Let's see. What would it be? How could I find it? Traditional.
There you go.
Advanced. Scoring opponent. I put opponent. Opponent field goal made. What are we doing here? Opponent's field goal percentage. And let's give it. Let's say you have to. Games played at least. They had to have done at least 8 of these things. At least 8 of them, and they had to have done.
There you go.
That's horrible defense. That's some horrible defense right there.
Oh yeah. There you go.
That's the worst.
That doesn't surprise me. I'm surprised the Pacers are so bad.
It's this lineup.
It's that lineup.
It's kind of weird, but yeah, these lineups are just terrible. How about any guesses for which team is going to have the best?
The best.
It's got to be the Celtics, right?
The lowest percentage.
Not the Celtics.
No. It's probably a team we're not even thinking of.
Could it be the Bucks?
Honestly, might be the Mavericks.
That's disgusting.
Mavericks? No way. No way, Mavericks.
No, I think you'd be surprised.
Do it.
No, you'd be surprised.
No.
Do it.
Boston and then Houston. Boston, Houston, OKC, Minnesota.
Yeah. I was right. They are up there. Where are the Mavericks? Are they just average? Probably.
They might not be
because their
anywhere
defense
close.
can't be that
There's no
bad
way.
this year.
It is
that bad.
Yeah.
They have to I don't know what I have to do 5 minutes of what? Because likely if you're not gonna get a lot of minutes of this team if the other team has like a 90% field goal percentage. So you're not gonna get a very high. Let's see. Can I find the Mavericks around here? Or I might have to look up the Mavericks because there we go. This 50% field goal percentage against this lineup here. That's let's see if that's the best they can do. 40. Dallas.
Yeah, you might just have to search by Dallas.
Let's just next page. Dallas. There we go. Yeah, 50. You're gonna shoot a 50% field goal percentage with. This is their best defensive lineup, and it's not good. They don't.
There's a lot of teams
Dallas
with
doesn't
50,
beat you by
though.
playing defense. They beat you
But
by
That's kind of how
outscoring.
you win the games, Geigh.
Yeah, no, I get that. I just thought that their team defense would be at least average.
No, they're too busy getting buckets.
Teams. Okay, I found defensive ratings. Somehow. It is in advanced filters too, if you go to it. Mavericks are 25, so yeah, they're pretty bad.
Okay, that's all I wanted to see.
All right. Well, so that wraps up our conversation of
Interesting.
players that are struggling or disappointing us this season. We'll talk about in a few more weeks players that have been pleasantly surprising us this year. So once again, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Momentum MVP. Follow our Facebook page at MVP Momentum Podcast, and check us out on YouTube at MVP Momentum Podcast. I've been Sam Holcroft.
Geigh Zollicoffer.
I've been Payton Thompson.
And thanks for listening.